Okay, Chodesh Tov, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I am so beyond relieved and excited and just feeling already rejuvenated that we are coming out of the month of Tevet into the month of Shevat. So, whereas last month we were below the ground in the soil, in the darkness, in the uncertainty, now we can breathe, we can see a little bit of light, a little bit of sunshine, and see some revelation from all of our suffering, from all of the uncertainty. We can begin to glean some of the teachings from the underworld. So it says in Deuteronomy that man is a tree of the field, or woman is a tree of the field, and we share the main parts of a tree. We all have roots, we have a trunk, we have branches, and we have sweet fruits. So we'll work through these 4 parts in our flow today. And before we begin, I'd like you to think of a favorite tree, one that you've connected to before. Maybe you saw a picture of it. Maybe you had a tree in your house, in your childhood home, or recently saw or observed a tree on a hike. Just bring that tree into your mind as inspiration to rise through our flow today. And sending gratitude to this tree for teaching us so many traits of embodiment, of presence, of patience, and of growth. Standing tall, yet being rooted, turning the leaves to the sun, and so many beautiful teachings that we receive from trees just by walking by them and observing. So we will begin in a squat pose, sinking the hips and pressing the soles of the feet into the mat, bringing the hands to the heart. Oh, and this song is called Elon, which means tree, trio tree. It's a story from the Gemara. And we'll begin this flow by sending roots from the soles of the feet into the ground. So the roots of our being bring us a sense of belonging and safety. So you can say to yourself, I belong, I am safe, and feel your roots descend into the Adama. Perhaps the roots connect us to a mother or a matriarch or our Jewish ancestors. Perhaps the roots bring us to our childhood and a feeling of belonging to ourselves. And invite in a few rejuvenating breaths into your roots. And as we send these roots down into the Adama, we remember the word for Adama is related to Edameh, imagination. And so the deeper we can connect to our sense of grounding, our belonging, the greater we can imagine what spiritual fruits we can give to the world. So keeping the feet planted, let's bring the hands down, parallel the heels wide into a forward fold, folding over the legs. Keeping that sense of groundedness through the feet, honoring the darkness of Tevet, where we came from. And with the light bend in the knees, we'll inhale to rise to the light of Shevat, towards the sunlight, reaching the hands high. And bring the palms together, and as we descend on an exhale over the heart, bring the heels in, sink back into your squat. We'll take some flows here, pressing the palms down, crown of the head down. Inhale to rise towards the sunlight. Exhale, heels in, palms travel down through the heart, land on the Adama. Heels parallel, inhale. Go as slow or fast as you want. This is your tree, your tree's growth, your tree's movement. Connecting down with the roots, but rooting to rise into this new month of possibilities. And each breath, we are exchanging an intimate exchange with the trees, giving and receiving oxygen in a deep relationship with the trees that surround us. We'll take one more wherever you are. Beautiful. Now reach the fingertips high and exhale, bring the hands onto the womb, the low belly. This is our root center because it brings us back to our womb, the first place of belonging, our first sense of home. And saying thank you to our mother for bringing us here, our deepest roots, and her mother, all the way back through all of our matriarchs. And we'll walk to the top of the mat. There we go. And we'll send awareness into our trunk, our torso. And the trunk in Torah, in the tree of life, in the Spherotic tree, is Tiferet, which is the integration of all of our emotional energy. So it's our emotional body, the very substance, the very core of who we are. So bring that awareness to that torso. Lift through the fingertips, make sure the feet are hip width distance, and then sink the hips down into a chair pose. Right away, warming up the legs, keeping that awareness on the trunk of who you are, connecting to our core values. So whereas the roots are our matriarchs, our ancestors, in the Jewish collective, the trunk is the Jewish nation, Am Yisrael, all of us together, one people, one heart. Keep reaching up, sinking the hips slow. Then bring the hands to touch at the heart. We'll bring the right elbow over the left knee, twisting to the left, and then step the right foot back. So we're in this twist lunge, palms together, twisting the torso. And even as we twist, the torso remains sturdy. It remains our center, our core, despite the turbulence of the twist. We'll bring the left hand to the left hip. Then the right hand to the inside of the foot. And then draw the right knee to the outside of the left heel. Sink the sit bones down, keeping that twist. So twisting over the left shoulder. Sit bones are planted. The torso is spinning, but find your center, your core. So no matter how the winds blow, our trunk keeps us present in the moment, connected to our truth. Deepen your breath here. Then turn the torso forward, stacking the left knee over the right. Press the heels down. Sink the hips. Feel the torso sturdy, yet growing. Then walk the hands forward. Rest the torso over the top of the leg. And the element of Shevat is air. And that air moves through us, moves through our tree. So our tree is never dry. We always bring this avir, this ruach, the wind, the spirit, through the breath. Nice. And we'll lift the hands back up, feel the torso nice and long. So whereas the roots, the affirmation is I belong, the affirmation of the torso is I matter. So bring the right hand onto the heart, left hand onto the low belly, and say out loud, I matter. I belong to myself. I matter. And we'll open the knees back into a squat, hands to the heart, and then palms to the mat. Parallel the heels, straighten the legs, and inhale to rise. Lifting the hands to the sunlight. That's the spring resurrection is just around the corner. In the depths of winter, we believe the light will return. And exhale, sinking into chair at the top of your mat. Connecting to your core values. This is the bulk of who you are. Hands to the heart. Wrap the left elbow over the right knee, press palms together. Twisting the torso to the right, yet remaining stable, sturdy through your trunk. Deepen the breath. And then shift the weight into the right foot. Step the left foot back into your twist. Extending the left foot behind you. Gazing right over the fingers. Stay connected to the essence, the trunk. And as we twist, we remember that the trunk of who we are is a merge of the right side and the left side, both emotions of the heart. The chesed, which is the giving, the loving, the opening, and the left side of Gevura, the strength, the receiving, the inward focus. So we're twisting those together, creating that beautiful harmony. Bring the right hand onto the right hip, left palm into the inside of the foot, and then draw the left knee to the outside of the right heel, sinking the hips down into a twist. This time we're a seated twist. You can come onto the pads of your fingertips with that right hand, turning over the right shoulder, breathing deeply here. I like to rest my left hand on my heart. And the heart is really the seat of Tiferet. And then it extends to the whole torso. We're connecting to the heart of the tree. Pumping life force, pumping breath through your whole system, through the roots, trunk, branches, and fruit by connecting to the heartbeat of the tree. And turn on forward, stacking the right knee over the left knee. Bend the heels down just by gently pressing them down. And then fold forward. Palms come in front of you. Let the torso rest over the right leg. Extend the arms forward. Nice, and then bring the hands back up, lifting the torso. And then open the knees into a seat, hands onto the knees, and we'll make some big, beautiful, luscious circles around the hips. And the circular rings of the tree remind us of the natural rhythms of life. That just like the tree grows through the seasons, we have our inner seasons that we all experience. So we have our winter months, our darkness, or our restoration, our hibernation. Then we have the spring within us, which is our new growth, our new possibilities, our resurrections. Let's circle the other way. Then we all have our inner summers, the time where we are most bright, full of fruition, full of gifts to the world. Everything's revealed in us. And we have our fall. Just like trees have to release the leaves and let go, we have to release layers that don't serve us. We have to make parts of ourselves die, so to speak, for a rebirth. So Shevat is connecting to the big circle of life. Open the feet back into the squat, hands to the heart. Re-envisioning those roots. Pressing palms down. Spin the heels parallel, forward folds. And inhale, rising through the trunk. Reaching the hands high. And exhale, hands down into mountain pose. So there's a Tehillim that says that you shall be like a tree planted beside waters. Your bark should never dry out, and your leaves should never wither. So although we're sturdy, although we are connected, the life-giving waters, the hydration, the movement, the fluidity of life is what keeps us drenched in life force. So allow that water to gently sway your tree. Then reach the hands on up. We'll step the right foot back into a high lunge. And just like a tree, we share the similarity of a vertical spine. And this is a gift talked about in Kabbalah often, that our vertical spine allows us to gaze upwards to our roots, our source. So whereas a tree's roots really is below the ground, our roots are above. Allows us to grow, to reach, to grasp. Bring the hands together, step forward, hands to the heart. And step the left foot back, the heel is up. Inhale the hands, high lunge. Nice vertical spine. The Arizal would teach his students to regularly look upwards to the sky, to remember where the blessings come from, just like a tree is vertical. And step forward, hands to the heart. Bring the hands to the hips. Step the right foot back, and then bring the right knee down. right top of the foot down, and inhale, reach your branches high. So the trunk is the core of who we are. Our branches are what keeps us yearning, growing, reaching for something greater. Tuck the right toes, lift the right knee off the ground back into a high lunge. Bring the hands together and twist again to the left. Twisting out the torso, palms together. One deep breath here. And release forward back into your high lunge. Step the right foot to the top of the mat, hands to the heart. Pulsating the tree with your heartbeat, the life force. Release the hands to the hips, step the left toes back into the high lunge, and then gently lower the left knee down, top of the foot down to the mat. Inhale, grow up your branches. Feel that vertical spine. And in the yoga manual this month, you'll see the taste of Kabbalah that says where as the plant's root is in the ground, its head is in the ground, our head is up in the sky. So our consciousness comes from the supernal realms above, that vertical spine growing tall. And release the hands to the hips, tuck the left toes, lift the left knee up, hands to the heart, and we'll twist again to the right, pressing the palms together. One deep breath here. And release back into your high lunge and step the left foot forward, hands to the heart. Nice. And we'll take some creative side bends here. So stepping the right foot all the way back as far as you can, dropping the heel and opening wide, a big circle around the crown. Step back to the center, swing the left heel as far back and down, and side bend to the right, fingertips to touch. And swing it back at your own pace, one side and the next, following your breath, creating that circular ring of a tree around you. Also the shape of the moon as we welcome the new moon. And the sphira, which is the sphira of Shevat, is Keter, is the crown, an aura of light around the crown of the head. Keep going, breathing into your side bend. One more on each side. And step to the center, fingertips to touch, whether it was the tree, the circle that you imagined, the moon, or the sphira of Keter. We embrace the circles in our life and all that they encompass. And bring the hands to the hips. So Tu B'Shvat marks the rising of the saraf, the sweet nectar of life from the ground. So whereas it looks like winter above ground, underground there's a sweet nectar, the saraf, the sap that's rising. So bringing the hands to the hips, we'll start by rolling out that right ankle. Any coldness that you've accumulated over the winter, any stuckness or rigidity, we allow this nectar from the ground to rise. So up into the shin, up through the knee. And really doesn't matter how you move. It's about connecting to the circle and allowing the nectar to just rise up through the right thigh, the right hip, like a tree planted beside water. So feeling that hydration, that fluid water rising up the side body, up into the right shoulder and the elbow, forearm, wrist, flickering through the fingertips, that sap lifting through the whole right side body. Nice. And then bring the hand onto the hip. Keep that weight shifted in the left foot as you pop the knee forward and out, lifting the sole of the foot below the knee or above the knee. Of course, coming into tree pose, which is our peak pose for Shevat. Externally rotating the femur. Connecting back to those roots, lifting through your trunk, and now reaching and growing through the branches. And remembering the element of the wind this month that sways our tree right and left, that brings some movement in the branches. Asking ourselves what we are reaching for. What are we striving for? What are we climbing to? These are our branches that are continuously growing. Nice. Bring the hands to the hips, draw the right knee forward, and then hold on to the inside of the right foot, reaching the left arm up. So in dancer's pose, this time, I don't care how far you kick, it's how much you're reaching with the left arm. So the kick is not as important. You can begin to press weight into the back of the palm so that you can feel the left side body grow and reach with the left fingertips. Feeling that notion of rooting to rise, grounding yet growing, like a tree planted beside streams of water, never drying out. Our leaves are never wither. A few more breaths here. Nice. And release, dancers. Bring the foot down. And we'll take a few of those creative side bends, breathing right and left, opening the creative channels of the side body. And just looking or walking by the trees infuses us with this ability of creativity, of life-giving energy. And we'll meet back in mountain pose, hands on the hips, starting to circle the left ankle, imagining that seraph rising. Sweetening the left side up into the knee, warming up from the knee up into the hip as you roll out the left hip. Enjoying the eagle, the circle, and circle consciousness is the messianic era, is the world to come. We're going from linear, which is the masculine realm, to circular. So feel that in the body as you rise up the side body into the shoulder, up into the elbow, wrists, palms, and fingertips. So anything that was stuck in the winter is now regrowing with life. And bring the hands to the hips. Pop the left knee forward and out. Slide the sole of the foot below or above the knee. And this song means Ki ha'adam etz hasadeh, that man is like a tree of the fields. So connecting to the roots through the right sole of foot, saying, I belong, I am safe. And then up to the trunk, I matter, the core of who I am, I value myself, I matter. And then growing your branches, I grow. And just like a tree grows and opens its leaves towards the sun, we also open our palms to our Creator to let the light in. And release the hands, draw the knee in and hold on to the inside of the left foot. Reaching the right arm, beginning to kick back or just apply a little pressure so you can feel the growth of the right side body up through the right arm, reaching, growing, connecting upwards. Warm up your face with a little smile. Connect with the breath. Nice, and then release the knee. Press the feet down and come to the top of your mat. Sinking the hips down onto the mat. And we'll bring the right foot over the left thigh. And then the left foot over into lotus. And if you can only go halfway here, that's totally fine. Bringing the hands on the knees. This pose for me is really a container of belonging to myself. Completely belonging to myself. And if you look or gaze at a tree, that's the message that they exhibit to the world, is just a sense of embodied presence, belonging to themselves. Taking a few breaths here. And then release that left foot gently, bringing the left knee to the outside of the left mat, sending the right foot behind you into a pigeon pose. Palms to the mat, and then walking down onto the forearms, resting the forehead down. So pigeon pose, really getting into the hip, which is the seat of water. Opening up the wells of creativity that Shevat allows. So much creativity in this month just by gazing at the trees and the way that they move, the way that they grow. Eating all the luscious, delicious fruits and delicacies and wine. There's so much pleasure. So inviting in that sense of pleasure and play and creativity. It's a very subtle shift, but intense one from the heavy, harsh, dark month of Tevet into a lighter, creative, free-flowing month of Shvat. But it's exactly what we need to get us out of the winter. And let's walk the hands up to the palms. If you want to take a twist here, if it's in your ability, you can bring the right forearm down, left hand onto the knee, and just gently twist to the left. If you can bend the right leg and hold on to the back foot, go ahead and challenge yourself, kicking into that back hand. So before the sin, before Adam and Chava partook in the tree of duality, the whole tree was pleasurable and delicious, not just the fruit, but every part of the tree, the branches, the bark. And in the world to come, this will be again. And Rav Pinson teaches us that this is the realms of product-oriented consciousness, when the fruit is the product, whereas the process-oriented consciousness, where the whole part of the tree tastes good. So enjoying the whole process, even the transitions from pose to pose, from seed to tree. It's not just about the fruit, it's about the whole process where everything tastes delicious. Release the back foot, hands to the mat, lifting back up into pigeon. Wrapping the right foot around, holding on to the right sole of the foot, and straightening the right leg. Opening through that right back of the leg. And Kabbalah also teaches that this process-oriented consciousness means that when we eat fruit now, it's just our mouth and our stomach that gleans the benefits. We just taste good in the mouth and the stomach feels good. But the process-oriented consciousness, where the whole tree from the Garden of Eden is delicious, means that in the world to come, when we eat something pleasurable, our entire body will be animated with pleasure. Not just our mouth and our belly, but every part of us will engage with the sense of pleasure. And we get a little taste of that in yoga, when it really feels good, the whole body. And slide the right foot forward, fold over the right leg. So the left sole of the foot is in the inner thigh as we fold down. This song is perfect. It talks about each of the four parts of the tree, the roots going down into the earth. This song will be on repeat for me this shot. Let's lift up out of that right leg, bend the knee, and this time we'll bring the right foot on top of the left thigh, and then the left foot on top. So this may feel a little bit awkward for you, or one side may feel a little bit awkward, and just allow yourself a moment of belonging to yourself in all the awkwardness and all the discomfort. And you can reach the branches to the sky, as the song says. And release the hands. We'll bring the right knee to the outside of the right mat, the corner of the mat. Send the left foot behind you. And fold forward into pigeon on this side. And turning our leaves to the light, you can lift the palms to the sky. Any darkness, any difficulty we've been experiencing in this past month, we can just gently turn it towards the light. If you want to take that twist here, you can bring the left forearm to the top of the mat, right hand to the right leg. Maybe bending the back leg and pulling the heel in, twisting to the right. So feeling that messianic realm of pleasure permeating the entire body. Turning away from the product-oriented into the process-oriented. Release the back foot, come up onto the palms. Wrap the left foot around, holding onto the inside of the sole of the foot. Extend the heel forward and up, opening through the left leg. Lifting the heart towards the top of the foot. And then extend the left foot forward and fold over that left leg. Sending those roots deep down. Nice. And bring both the soles of the feet together. Winging out through the knees, opening the inner hips. And let's take a deep swallow. The body part of the month is the kurkavan, the esophagus. Just to feel the pipeline, the esophagus, and knowing that it's a month of rectifying our sense of eating. How fun. We get to eat fruits and bless and taste and swallow and enjoy. So opening up that channel and remembering that the entire process, the fruit can permeate our whole body with pleasure. Let's roll onto the back and bring the right sole of the foot into the inner left thigh, coming back into our tree pose, but on the back. Imagining you're pressing the left sole of foot down, feeling the trunk of your body, the torso, level, growing, stable. And then opening the branches, so sending the hands behind you, reaching your branches. And finally coming into the level of our fruits. Okay, and visualize the fruits in the palms of your hands or at the top of the heart. So when we're in that process-oriented consciousness, we're continuously giving our fruits from our heart, from a place of groundedness and connectedness, not wasting away through giving, but rather our giving is always replenished because we are connected to the source. Feeling those beautiful fruits in the palms, in the heart. And then bend the right knee towards the right inner arm. Open the right sole of the foot. Hold onto the outer edge of the right foot. So we're in a half happy baby pose. Left arm to the side. Deepen the right knee down to the mat. Feel sturdy through the torso, rooted through the left leg and foot. And then bring the right knee over the body and look over the right palm for a deep twist. Gazing over that right hand of chesed, of giving, and that the gifts, our fruit, should come and unravel from our hearts. So that line from the right palm to the heart should be direct, connected, open channel. And turn back around, extend the right foot forward, bring the left sole of foot to the inner thigh, into your tree. Extend your branches overhead, embodying the tree of life, allowing the tree of life to flow through you. Then bending the knee, opening the outer edge of the left heel. Happy baby pose on the left side. You can bring the right arm, extend it from the right shoulder. Feel the low back grounding, opening through the left groin. And then draw the left leg over the right. Open the left arm, gazing over the left palm for a twist. You can bring the right hand onto the top of the knee or onto the heart. And of course, a tree has boundaries. So the left side of Gevura represents channeled giving, not wasting away, but giving our fruits with intention, with purpose, to the right people. This is our side of structured boundaries. Breathing from that left palm into the heart, and from the heart into the left palm, that flowing channel. Nice, and then coming back to center, bringing the feet to the mat. And you can let the knees fall together and feel the back of the body on the ground, envisioning nurturing soil in the back body, connecting to the Adama, the Mother Earth holding you. And from the back body, imagine growth or sprouts of life, gifts, up, brushing into the heart. And from the heart, growing forth into your gift, into your fruit. So from the back body to the front body, spurts of growth and new life. Feel the heart blossoming and opening. Feeling spring in the heart. And then lift all the limbs off the ground like you're a plant shooting from the soil. Growing the limbs, reaching your leaves to the sun. And you may feel that connection between the back of the heart and the front of the heart, connecting a little bit more. So from the grounding side to the giving side, from the supportive side of the back to the expression side of the front of the heart. Then bring the feet down. Knees are hip width distance. Lift the hips off the mat. Palms onto the earth, or you can hold on to the outer edges of the mat. Lifting up through the hips. And Kabbalah teaches that the tree of life and the tree of knowledge were really the same tree. They occupied the same space. They were the same tree. The only difference was the tree of life was rooted, whereas the tree of knowledge had no root. So feeling those roots in the feet, reminding us that we partake from the tree of life when we remember the source of pleasure, the source of our gifts and bounty. And we put the fruit back on the tree of life every time we remember those roots. So Tu B'Shvat is the celebration of the Ilan, the tree, not all the trees, but the tree. And the tree is the tree of life. Every breath contributing to the tree of life, putting our fruits back on the tree of life and remembering our source. Let's release the hips and flow the hands above you. Hips are sinking down. Exhale, palms to the mat, lift the hips. And sink the hips. Grow the arms up and back. Flowing bridge a few times. Like we're placing our trust in our roots. And those roots are connecting us to the life source. Nice. And extend into Shevat pose, opening the palms. And the word for Shvat, this Hebrew month, has the same Hebrew letters as Shabbat. So allowing yourself to receive all the fruits of your practice. Let's connect back to the roots and say to yourself, I belong, I matter. And then washing awareness over the torso, feeling the trunk, the core of who you are. Feeling that Tiferet heart. The mix of all your emotional energies, the substance of who you are, from the heart through the torso. Then connecting with your branches, your ability to grow and move, choose pathways in life. So your right arm of Chesed, your left arm of Gevura, of strength, and your right leg of Netzach, which is endurance and confidence, the other branch of you, and the left branch, your left leg of Hod, humility and surrender. And connecting to the crown of your head, the Sphira of this month of Keter, knowing that all pleasure derives from Keter, this source of Tainug, which is divine pleasure. It's our will to be here. And feeling the fruit that we have to give in the heart, the spiritual offerings, your gifts to the world. Woman is a tree of the field. So we reflect this tree of life where we are connected to our source and we are giving our fruits. You can roll onto your side and then gently push yourself up into a seat. Visualizing that friend, that tree that you chose at the beginning of your class. Or perhaps it's a creative tree that you're just envisioning in your mind. Visualize this tree in front of you. See your similarities, the vertical spine, the growing branches, the leaves turning to the sun. Our respiratory system looks like an upside down tree. Our breathing that meshes with this tree in front of us. Our ability to withstand the storm and the wind, remaining sturdy. Absorb the teachings of the tree into your body. And then reach your branches up, open your leaves once again to the sun. Smile at the resurrection of spring, the tree of life that's growing and expressing through you. And bring the hands to the heart and say your seed of intention out loud for the month of Shevat. Under the new moon, we have, just like the farmers are planting the physical seeds, we are planting our spiritual seeds right now, growing our very own tree this month. So you can say it out loud. You can unmute yourself if you wish to share. I will say mine out loud. My intention is to be slow, is to be patient, is to be more present with my loved ones, and is to trust the process of my life and remain connected to my center and my core through all the turbulence of what may occur. If anyone else would like to share their intention, go ahead and unmute yourself, and we'd love to hear.
Hi, the camera's not working.